trying to fight for justice using racism's dollars.
Right.
It'll never happen.
Just like BLM, huh?
BLM. Well, I think BLM was a CIA, FBI front to take over the traditional masculine-led Black power movement with the LGBTQ and bring all the Black youth over to the LGBTQ camp. So they used the red, black, and green flag. They led with Black power, but when you looked at the agenda, it was all LGBTQ.
Yes, that's right.
I think that was the hijacking of the masculine leadership of the Black power movement.
Right.
Because one thing about BLM that's very interesting, right? They have never been audited by the IRS.
Wow.
We've been audited already, and we haven't collected nowhere near the amount of money. Do you understand me?
Oh, yeah.
So how does FDMG get audited by the IRS? And BLM has collected tens of millions of dollars.
Yes.
They've been all over the internet. Candace Owens, who's a Negro and a coon, but she's done she did a documentary on them, and the IRS ain't touched them.
Have you ever debated Candace Owens?
No, but I'll do it. I'll gladly conduct the intellectual assassination. She can't go to war with me. Nope.
No.
She's a coon. She's married to a white man. I have no respect for her, but I'll gladly conduct the intellectual assassination. Name the time and place.
So you mentioned finances earlier. Again, I stay on the money because I always believe it goes with the money.
Follow the money.
No Black dollar, no Black power.
And I'm wondering, with so many Black millionaires and billionaires out here that could be assisting these programs or doing what needs to be done, why do you think that doesn't happen? Because like you said, Martin and Stokely and all them, they didn't have the resources in their work.
That's why they were effective.
Billionaires and millionaires back then to contribute.
That's why they were effective, Queen. See, back then, the Black community funded the grassroots organizations. You follow me?
Right.
If Stokely and King, and I don't think they would have went for it anyway because they was too sincere, which is another big difference between them and us. Most of these guys are looking for money, not freedom, right?
Yeah.
But they were so sincere, they would have never accepted a dollar from the power structure anyway. After Stokely and King and Malcolm, that's when the government said we need to start funding Black community organizations to do what? Prevent Black revolution and radicalism.
Yeah.
That's why your Black churches don't do much because most of them are tapping into city grants, state grants, federal grants. And of course, corporate American grants. But more specifically to your question, we have to stop talking about the celebrities helping us. They're never going to do it. And if they are going to do it, they're going to do it only after you have shown and proven you are serious and you have achieved a victory. For example, take FDMG, right? I'm the biggest Black scholar in the world. There's no name that comes next to mine. I haven't got a single donation from a Black celebrity.
Wow.
I know many of them. They talk my phone, they text me. I know them all. Your Grammy Award winners, all that. I know them all. They call me.
Of course.
Never wrote a
Everybody
check.
knows you. Everybody
Never
knows
wrote a
you.
check. Not one of them wrote a check.
Wow.
Do I fault them? No. Because here's what I'm going to say. When we open up that school next year, right? And they see them kids in there, I want to see if I get it checked in. Some of them want to help, but they're afraid. They got to make sure before they stick their neck out, Dr. Umar is serious because after all, we heard he stole the money, he did this, ain't no school, right?
Yeah.
So once they see the students, I may get a check. Most of them will never donate because the Black celebrity, the Black athlete, the Black entertainer is a corporate commodity. They are plantation slaves. I don't say this to be disrespectful. I say it to be honest. The only difference between your Black celebrities and our ancestors who picked cotton in Mississippi 157 years ago is they get a check. Our ancestors did not. They are just as controlled, and I would argue more enslaved than our ancestors were. Because when you look at their contracts, they have contracts, specifically the athletes, that specifically forbids them from getting involved in any Black community grassroots work. This is why when you see the football players and the NBA players, they always taking pictures with white kids. Why they never taking pictures with Black kids? Because they afraid of looking too Black, because looking too Black does not allow me to be marketable. And if I'm not marketable, my career ends.
And if they do this in a poor community instead of,
Thanks, King.
like they go to these other white schools and all this that are privileged. But if you see them go to a Black school, it's in an underserved community, and they really just do it for the photo op.
Yeah, they don't drop no money off.
Yeah, they show
And
up.
my thing is the fact that you can get a tax write-off, you should be dropping even more money.
Right.
You see, because I'm trying to understand how you got 20 cars in your garage, but the neighborhood you come from ain't even got a decent school for the kids.
Right.
You got your own jet or 2 and 3 jets, but the neighborhood you live in is plagued with crime because there's no jobs for Black people. And to that point, one of the justifications that the Mississippi State Legislature made for the expansion of the Capital District Zone is crime, right? Backlogging crime. They got to process some of these cases. Well, if you really care care about the crime in Jackson or the crime in Mississippi, how about you target the causes of that crime? And the two biggest causes of crime in America are miseducation and economic castration. So if they are sincere about caring about the crime, what have they done for schools in Jackson over the past 10, 20, 30 years? Don't tell me you care about crime and you're not making the schools better. For example, do we have industrial building trade programs in Jackson, Mississippi? I don't just mean 1 or 2 classes. I mean an entire program that takes you from A to Z, and once you finish high school, you can sit for your Mississippi state license to be a plumber, electrician, auto body mechanic. You understand me? That's what we used to have in the black community. The skills that pay the bills. The reason why these brothers out here stealing and robbing and looting, because they got kids to feed, mouths to feed, and nobody's giving them no economic opportunity. So can't nobody talk to me about crime until you talk to me about jobs.
Well, wait. What do you say to the younger black people who are committing crimes? Because now the crime wave is with the 12 through about 17. 18,
well, they're being nurtured by the olders to do the crime.
Yeah.
You understand me? So they're being socialized by their big homies to do the crime. They're not waking up and walking outside with the guns. They're being paid to do the drive-bys, sell the dope, pass the packages and everything else. But I want to be clear, as bad as crime is, and it is, I will not demonize the brothers who are doing it, because I understand that they exist within a social structure created by white people to suffocate black people to death. You understand? And unfortunately, our black politicians, state, local, national, they are not fighting enough for economic opportunity for black males. When is the last time you heard a conversation on the Mississippi state floor, congressional state floor down in DC, any state, any city, talking about a bill to create jobs for black men in the inner city? Have you ever heard that conversation? All you hear about is prisons and police. And the research shows you that more police and more prisons does not reduce crime. It has no effect. So why are you putting more cops on the street? Because you're giving white people jobs and careers in the name of black dysfunctionality.
Let's go back to the billionaires and multi-millionaire African Americans that are in this country. How, with the power and the money that they have, why do you think they don't have a voice at this point? Because
money don't equal power. Money don't equal power. And if the white man knows,
it's like, goddamn.
And when your identity,
I got $3 billion.
Yeah, but your identity is tied up in your money. Your ego is tied up in your money. That means you're not willing to lose your money for anything.
Right.
Do you understand that?
You got your money though. You got it.
It can be taken. Because they all got it from white folks. They got that money from white folks. None of them are self-made. LeBron James is a phenomenal basketball player. Shout out to him for breaking the record. But LeBron James got rich through the NBA. That's a white corporation. Oprah Winfrey got rich through the white corporation. But there are no buts.
That's how it works.
No, it's not how it works.
Okay, so you're telling me.
It doesn't have to work that way.
Okay. And this is not, I own this station, okay? So this is grassroots for me. I have all of these employees because I know old school radio, but if corporate America gives me dollars and I still use this platform, we got you on this platform, and you're saying what you're saying, how do I combat that? You see what I'm saying?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
If it's not all black, eventually it will be set back. You understand? So, although you may own the station, if you become overly dependent on white corporate sponsorship, technically you're not black anymore.
Well, we don't, but we don't.
But you understand what I'm saying? There's black stations who are like that, right? That are on this station, and that's how it survived for the last 11 years. Got you. So you're black, but what I'm saying is, you have stations around the country who started off black, fell in love with that white dollar, and they're no longer black anymore. You see, so the balancing act that you have to engage in and other black businesses of any kind has to engage in is how far do I go in accepting this white corporate sponsorship, support, or advertising before they start pulling back? Take me, I'm on the Breakfast Club, right? Why do you think I'm only on the Breakfast Club once a year? Because the white corporate sponsors of the Breakfast Club are not interested in hearing Dr. Umar Johnson all the time, even though I get more views than your favorite rapper. You understand me?
Okay, but
power is about power. No white man is going to fund you.
You got a Charlemagne that does whatever the hell he does.
Yeah, but Charlemagne ain't Dr. Umar Johnson. You understand me?
Yeah, he's under contract. Okay.
No, Charlemagne is my brother, but he's not me. There's no other me. You understand? There's other brothers who getting there, but they ain't there yet. Very few people have my education who are willing to flip on the system and expose it the way that it is, who didn't leave the system because they were angry at the white man for disinviting them. See, I'm organic.
Right.
I wasn't trying to run for office and got the chair pulled out. I didn't have a big job with the white man and got the chair pulled out. A lot of these conscious guys came to black consciousness because the white man sabotaged them. If they never got sabotaged, they'll still be sitting next to their slave master. You understand me? That ain't me. So their loyalty to the black community is conditional on income and finances. You see that? Wherever the money go, that's where their political ideology goes. You got to be careful.
All the money.
Listen. I was talking to a brother the other day. He said, Dr. Umar, I need you to help me push this agenda I'm working on to advertise black banks. We want black people to put their money in black banks. Totally agree. Totally agree, right? But then I said, what is your definition of a black bank? Because I'm a Pan-Africanist. So what that means is it got to be all black everything. I said, what is your definition of a black bank? You know what he told me?
What?
51% black ownership. I said, I cannot support you. He said, but Doc, it's 51. It don't mean nothing. You can have 51% black ownership, one white man with 49%, and he still got more control than the rest of you all. If it ain't all black, don't call it black. You understand? My definition of a black business is not a black business co-owned by a black person. It's a black business owned exclusively by black people. Sure, you can do business with whites. I'm not against that. That's business. But ownership got to be us. If it ain't no black power, ain't going to be no black dollars.
So do you think that's the situation that happened with Kanye West and his downfall, sort of?
I have a view on Kanye. Number one, I have to commend Kanye West for being the first black billionaire since Michael Jackson to expose control of black media and entertainment in the way that he did. And even when they stripped him of his potential to make billions, remained stern and unapologetic in his position. You understand? I'm not going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Shout out to Kanye West for doing that. On the flip side, putting on my Garvey hat, I'm totally disappointed in this Negro who keeps snow bunny hopping with these damn white Caucasian women, divorced one, ran and married another one.
Right.
So my issue with Kanye is, although you are willing to stand on your principles, even in the face of a loss of money. See, Kanye's power is he's not married to money like all the other black entertainers are.
Right.
They're married to it. When you see Kanye, he's not always running around with 50 chains around his neck, showing off big cars. He look like he a brother sleeping on the street.
Right.
He's not in love with money, and that's why the white man can't control him. All of your other entertainers, they're in love with money, and that's the slave chain that the white man uses to control them. But Kanye is not committed to a black agenda.
No.
Kanye is committed to Kanye's best interest.
That's right.
He's not for the black community, but I still respect the fact that he stood up.
Now, to segue into another subject, I just want to know how you felt about the situation with Tyree Nichols.
Oh, it was horrible. Unacceptable. I'll be in Memphis April the 3rd. It was unacceptable. And here's what I want black people.
It was disappointing to me because it was brothers.
I'm not surprised though. There was a famous psychological study. Anybody can go look it up. It was the Stanford Prison Experiment, Stanford University. The professor of psychology was Philip Zimbardo, I believe his name was. He did a prison study where he took random people off the street. He assigned some to the prison group, some to the prison police. So you're a prisoner or you police in the prison guard. He had to stop the study within about 2 days. Why? Because the prisoners, although they were not real prisoners, because they were put in the cell, began acting like it. And the prison guards, who were not prison guards, because they were given control over the prisoners, started becoming oppressive and acting just like regular city police. The conclusion of the study was, people are very susceptible to taking on the behavior of the identity you have given them. Yeah. The point that I'm making is, although those police were black and they need to be held accountable by the black community for what they did to our brother, they were operating in the name of white supremacy. They were Memphis police, because what the white police are trying to say, this ain't police brutality, this is black on black crime. It's actually both. It's police brutality because they were wearing your uniform, operating in your job, driving your car, operating with your consciousness.
That's right.
That was white police brutality in a black face. You understand? Right. So those Negroes, and this is why you got to be careful about giving people who don't have power because they abuse it. Right. You can't take black men off the street, put them in charge of policing their own neighborhood and expect them to do it justly. We do have good black police, but that situation in Memphis clearly shows that black people will take on the identity of whichsoever slave master pays their bills.
It was funny to me also that, you know, when these officers were arrested, they showed all these officers in their uniforms, and then the next day it's like Now y'all niggas, we got you in hoodies.
Yeah.
It's the only police.
Got you in hoodies.
It's the only police brutality case you've seen in recent memory.
Where's Blue Lives
where they was
Matter?
fired immediately.
Yeah.
Arrested immediately. Charged immediately. The Fraternal Order of Police spoke out against them. When have you ever seen a Fraternal Order of Police speak out against police?
Even though they were in the wrong, what happened to the Blue Lives Matter? They didn't come
You know why?
to their rescue.
Because it's a double standard. It's a double standard. What that shows black people, and don't get me wrong, they deserve to be punished for killing that brother. But what that shows all black people, whether you work for the FBI, CIA, the court system, whether you're a lawyer, a teacher, a governor, a doctor, there's a double standard. And you will never get the protection that you are entitled to because you ain't got the complexion for the protection.
Now, speaking of police, they're with this bill they're trying to do the Capitol Police and pitting them really against JPD. When JPD was already underfunded and short-staffed, it was less police, you know, they were like 60, 100 police short. And instead of them giving Jackson Police Department, which is majority black, funding to hire more police officers, to pay the police officers more, they started this Capitol Police thing to, you know, do certain areas. And it's mostly out north.
That's right.
This Capital District Zone and the expansion of it, to me, is gentrification 2.0. I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, I'm saying to myself, they're saying, okay, locking them up is helping, but it ain't switching this over fast enough.
Right.
The police killing them off, them killing each other is helping, but it ain't getting them out fast enough. The charter school movement has definitely helped gentrify black communities across the country, but it ain't getting them out fast enough. We need something that's going to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. So they said, let's try this. Let's see if the Negroes let us get away with this. We're going to abandon constitutional law. We're going to abandon local procedure. We're going to totally ignore local jurisdiction of the mayor and city council to make their own decisions and elect their own people. And we're just going to do a straight up Adolf Hitler Gestapo tactic and create a white heaven in the middle of a black hell. And we're going to see if they're going to let us get away with this. If this gets away in Jackson, it's going to go national. Because there's nothing more blatantly racist and unfair than for you to arrest due process and constitutional procedure to create a white city with all unelected officials, but you're going to charge the citizens of Jackson to pay for it. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. If this ain't a 1954, 1955, 1940 tactic, I don't know what is. But again, what are we going to do? Because the first law of physics is what? No force can be counteracted unless it's met with a force of equal or greater power. So where is the black power? Because sitting around begging white people to change, here's our biggest problem. We're more concerned with changing white people than changing ourselves. And I'm going to also say this. I got to do more research on the water crisis. I got to do more research on the 1020 bill. But guess what? This is the culmination of a process that began probably 20, 30 years ago.
That's right.
That slowly gained momentum over years while we sat by and did nothing. This is just the hammer falling. But the hammer didn't begin to fall with the passage of this bill. It was already falling and we didn't do nothing about it.
It started falling when Jackson got his first black mayor.
Okay.
After that, things started switching.
So there's the history to it.
Because after then, it's been a black mayor ever since.
Okay. So what they're going to do is defund and basically destroy the infrastructure of the city. The long-term vision is they want Jackson back. That's the long-term vision. So what we got to do is to destroy, defund, defunct, and assassinate the character of Mayor Lumumba, right? As the character of the black community activists. We're going to paint them as criminals to the citizens of Mississippi so we can go in for the big land grab and take the whole city back. Because Jackson is so black, they couldn't gentrify y'all the way they gentrify other black cities. Because it's too entrenchedly black. You follow? So that's why they had to do the capital zone, because they said, we keep on using these other petty strategies, we won't get Jackson back for 100 years. Let's come with an advance.
And I really believe they had something to do with the uptick in crime in Jackson. Everything on the news
I believe it.
is Jackson's bad, Jackson's bad, Jackson's bad.
I believe it.
But the surrounding areas, most of them have just as much crime or, you know, and
well,
you never hear about it.
Who controls the media?
That's right.
You understand me?
Well,
and we know for a fact, and this has been proven through research, that the media will report crime that never even happened. The media will take old crime and report it as new crime. So the media is the biggest part of this Jackson City takeover by the white power structure. What did Brother Malcolm X say, who passed on the 21st? We can't forget that. Malcolm said, the media will have you loving your enemies and hating your friends.